Good morning, everybody. So let's start our day here. And let me just make sure that we're in this and that this is public, and we should be good in a minute here to just start. Yep, we are public. Great. So the one I want to cover, I'm going to give everyone a couple minutes to come in. I know I started this late. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out, but I'll try and stay a little bit longer today. I just had a bunch of stuff to do this morning. It just really took up a lot of time, ate up a ton of time. Good morning. So let's just start. I'm just going to wait for people to stroll in a little bit here. Bear with me 1 second. And let me just put this link one more place, and then we're done. So, well, I mean, the very first thing I'm going to do is I want to go over AMC, and I just want to talk about what's going on here. Let me just wait a couple minutes. Good morning, Ethan. I'm just going to wait for people to funnel in here. But first and foremost, I really want to go over AMC, and then I'll just start taking questions. Hey, buddy, how are you? So let's just go over what's going on here, and then people can play catch up, because I know that I'm starting a little bit late today. 48.20. That's what we were looking for. That was the breakout. Okay. You have your pre-market data coming in. Look. Okay. So your pre-market data is in. I just want to point this out because I think this is really important. We're going to discuss the markets and what's going on, but I think it's really important to understand what's happening with some of these names, because some of them are presenting trades. And to me, this is one of them. So what I'm arguing, or what I would be looking at, is I would be looking to see how this is going to hold up. To me, I think you can get to that 55 level fairly quickly. I really do. I think you can actually get there today if this breaks out properly. So what you're going to be looking for off the open is just getting above 5170. If you get above 5170 today on this, you're probably going to 55. Okay. And I think it's going to happen in a day. I think it's going to be that quick of a trade. I don't know how the options are going to do. The implied volatility on the options, when I looked, seemed kind of excessive. So it seems more like a stock trade right now. They just really didn't move. And I still believe you're getting to the 64 level. So, and I just want to show this very, very quickly. This is what you look like on the weekly. Okay. This was the first week you've closed over this level since June. Okay. So the first time you've closed over this wedge line since June. You didn't do it here. You failed back over it. This one clearly broke out. This is where you're going, 55.07. And I think you can get there in a short period of time. So that's really what the one that I is sticking out to me this morning that I think you have to really pay attention to. Good morning, Boca. So, yep, I can do Ethereum, and just start throwing out quotes now. We'll just start getting into it. Which ones you want to go over, or symbols, I'm sorry. Let me get through the conference calls, and let me get through my coffee. Obviously, I'm going to need a little more of it today. So let's go through what's going on here. So I like this. I don't know that it's over yet. To me, as we know, we had a cross here, right? So you have a high type bull flag right under support on Ethereum. So I'll say it again, and I can get rid of all these lines and put them back, but let's just remove all these horizontal lines. And then what we can do is look at this. So you come here, you hit this trend line, you fall brutally through that trend line. Nobody saw this coming, right? Form an H. The failed H pattern is right here. Okay. And I can get rid of these indicators for a moment. We all know we're trapped between the 21 and the 50-day right now, right? So flipping that level was what you wanted to see. Okay. You would have used this if you did this trade, you would have used this low as your stop. You broke that low. Okay. So now the question is, what happens next? Well, I would argue that you better not break 3150, because if you break 3150, you're going here. So right now, what you're waiting to do is waiting for this to develop. That's really what you're waiting to do. And what you're looking for is you're looking for this. I'm waiting for that to break now. So now if that breaks to the upside, which would probably be the high of this bar, which would be 34.31, you could look at buying this. You could look at buying this and being long this. Other than that, I would not be buying Ethereum here. I would watch and wait. There's a lot of uncertainty going on. I believe it's quad witching. I think this is the third week of September, this Friday. So I think we have quad witching Friday. So this is going to be a really wonky week, and you're in a very vulnerable spot on all the indexes. So you're just really going to have to watch here and see how this whole thing plays out. But that's the first thing that stands out to me. That's how I would play Ethereum. I'd be very careful, and I'd use that wedge line. Hey, good morning from San Francisco. Good morning, John. CCG, go out to the monthly. All right, let's take a look, Brandon. Oh, I mean, here's your issue with this. And these are the ones you have to watch. Okay. And I mean, this is really, seriously, you need to watch these, because this is failed. That's failed. That's a failed breakout off this line. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is price rejection, as we know from that candlestick video. It's so interesting looking at like my early videos and the progression. But anyway, that's it. That's what we know what this bar is. Okay. Essentially, it's called the gravestone. That's not a warm, fuzzy feeling, right? So that usually means it signifies a top. So you need to watch that. As far as looking at the monthly, Brandon, here's your issue with the monthly. The month hasn't closed. So I don't know where this finishes, right? I don't have that data point. Let me remove this text. I mean, I get this. This is cool. This is great, right? Like if I was long this, I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled back here at the beginning of the month. Here, I don't know that I'm going to close here, because at the beginning of the month, I could use this, and then falling back a point gets me okay. In regards to the monthly, you have all kinds of issues, that I can kind of see, but let me just show you this. So, right, I mean, this was the break, right? Now you have to start getting above these levels. Well, here's one to start. Actually, that's not right. Hold on. Let me click on this, click on that, and let's open this up. So you have to get above this level right here, right? That's your first level, 20. Let's call it 26. You need to get above that. And until you get above that, I wouldn't even go near this. To me, it looks like it's toppy. So good morning, Cobra. Cobra, try to give me like one or two at a time. You can always put more in, but give me one or two so I can go through them all, everybody's ideas. But I'll go through them. Hey, Franklin, good morning. Smile Direct. So, I mean, this is going to be a hard pass. I can already tell. Yeah, no. I mean, you can't go near this. Look at this, Franklin. So, see that trend line? You do not want to go near this. This is not something that you want to touch. This is just hot potato. This was the line you had to get above 5 3/4, and you can't do it. So I would avoid that. Frankly, I wouldn't go near it. Snap, I know everybody's getting giddy about and looking at monthly charts. Look, you can't, if you're following somebody and they're posting monthly charts in the middle of the month, do yourself a favor. Stop following them because the month's not over. The purpose of having a bar is to understand where you're at. Like you can't be making decisions based upon monthly charts. I know everybody's excited because this is getting tighter and tighter, right? And maybe it does go, but you have to look at this on a daily chart, okay? I saw a ton of people on Twitter talking about the monthly, and who cares? You're 13 days in. So, there's a time and a place. That's the one thing about information. Sometimes you get too much of it. So, you kind of can see this line right here, 74.20, right? And you kind of see how you're respecting that. I need to flip something. Just give me something. Like if I can get above that, now let's look where that takes us, right? So that's taking me right to the top of that trend line. Maybe if I flip it, it goes, but I'm not so sure on that. So I really am not, because you've had so many failed breakouts. But if you truly wanted to try it, that's your level. So what you want to do is you want to break the wedge and go above at least one higher high point. I'll say it again. So you want to break the wedge and you want to go above one higher high point. Okay. And that usually means that you're filling in price rejection previously. And then you can expect it to get to 79.18. And then if it can get to 79.18, now you can challenge this. I mean, it's nice that it has a base, but we've been down this road with the stock before, and we know how this trades. So we just have to consider that. I'll do DNK. Let me do DraftKings Cobra. So I had this in the newsletter at 55. I think we bought it at 55 3/4 on this break. We traded it out right when I got to the 64.10 level. I have 64.34, but that's not your level. Once I got to that level, I sold it. You have to see what you do today. You have a bearish engulfing on Friday. You had a doji on Wednesday. This bar looked like it was going to encompass this bar, which to me is really a bullish engulfing. So this is the exact opposite of what you want to see. You want to see a bearish engulfing followed by a bullish engulfing. What do I have? I have a bullish engulfing followed by a bearish engulfing right on a support level. And let's zoom in on this for those that are on their phones. So you can see what I'm talking about. This is your level. And look how you can't get above it. Okay, you cannot get above it. This is actually supposed to be 10. So I can even drop it down so you can see where it's actually the 10 level for whatever reason. Right? Bonk, bonk, close, open. That's it. There's your level. You need to close above that before I'd even consider buying this. And even then, I'm going to have a tight stop on it. If it does do that, I would have a tight stop on it because it's running into the same issue it ran into before. And this is a decent move so far that it had. This is where that's where those people put that short report on, right? Drove it down, created a great buying opportunity. It was either there or here. It might have been here. So just consider that. I like the idea, but it's just not moving well. So thank you. So just keep going here. And then you have, let's see. Hey, Oscar, good morning. I don't think the market holds up today. I'll go through that if you want. I actually think that the worst thing that could have happened was bidding up. I mean, I bought a couple things on Friday at the close with the hope that we're going to bid up and then to get out. I have to see how much we actually move, but I would have rather opened flat, frankly. But we can look at the indexes. I mean, let's do the indexes really quickly just so we can talk about this. Like, look, here's your trend line on the S&P. I mean, you're right there. You're either going to hold or you're not going to hold, right? And maybe you get one of these little wicks down, right? And then bounce, or maybe you finally break. There's a ton of uncertainty out there, right? There's a ton. And, you have to look at, like, one of the things I would tell you is to look at consumer confidence. And this is not a political statement, but when you have these mandates that came out and now you have people walking off job sites and it's not just in the US, they're doing it in Canada too, where that does not inspire confidence, right? That does not inspire consumer confidence when you see people really unhappy with policy, whether you agree with the policy or not. It doesn't matter. So you have to look at it from a market standpoint, not your political stance, okay? And viewing this, until we get our hands around this, you could see more uncertainty. So this could break for the first time where people are like, you know what, I'm just going to sit out until all this nonsense clears itself up. And I don't know that happens. I know that what I'm going to be looking at is I'm going to be watching this line on the SPY, and you have to look at these indicators, okay? You have to watch this. You have to look for patterns. You have to look at how many times we've hit this level and bounced. And then you have to assume that it's going to do that again. But there's no guarantee of that. Okay, there really isn't. So you have to honor your stops. If I knew for a fact we were going to stop here, right, you'd bet the farm. But we just don't know that. So you have to play that. But do I think we hold? I don't. I'm not. Hey, Alberto, good morning. Hepa, what is this? What's it, a tiny one? So you have to play the hand that you're dealt, right? You can't play the hand you want to play. So I hope that helps. But to answer your question, the short version is I don't think we hold. But that doesn't mean that we don't hold, and it doesn't mean that I won't be buying stocks. So I'll play the hand that I'm dealt. That's what I do. So, I mean, I'll just waste a little bit of time on this. You got to get over this level. If you can't close over the 200-day, I don't know why you'd buy it. So 190, 191 is where you're looking, but you got to get over that, Tobias. Hey, Alberto, URNM. Let's take a look. URNM. North Shore Global Uranium. These funds are just insane. This is just an enormous move, Alberto. This is not something that I would chase. It's, you know, I obviously I wish I was in this move because this is just outstanding what's happened here. But to me, this trade's over, right? Like it's very difficult for me to tell anybody that, hey, you need to be getting involved in something that is up 72%. And in what period of time are we even up in that, right? So let's take from this point and put it to here. So in 2 weeks, I'm up 70%. That's going to be a hard pass for me. Like that's a ton of volume. This might even be an exhaustion gap, what you're saying here with this volume. And this today might be the exhaustion gap, right? Where that's like, that's enough. We're going to open up here. So if I was long, I'd be selling right into this. And if it went up higher, I'd be okay with it. But I certainly would not be a buyer here, Alberto. That's just how I would play that. APP. So you're trying, right? A Ploven Corporation. I mean, you're trying wick, right? Over and over again. But how does that work? It's not really working for us, is it? So that's something to consider. So I don't know. I would avoid this. Here, I would avoid this. Here's why. This was our breakdown bar. And look, every time we're getting close to that, we can't seem to get through that. So that means whoever was selling here, let's look at the indicators for a moment. So you see this volume that's coming in, right? That's not what you want. Like you got to get over this bar. This bar is still in control, right? See how these wicks are all price rejection? Get over 80.80, and then that's your trade, over 80.80, and then you're probably going to 86.46. But I'd wait for that. And I do like the volume increase. Maybe you do it, but I'd wait for that level before I got involved. Hey, Doug, good morning. So let's get to it. To me, I think everyone has to change their numbers on this. So if I was long this, if I bought this at the close on Friday, I'd probably be selling. And I know people did. I'd probably be selling right into it. Just take the profit, move on. You know, just take your trade. My issue is going to be that they're going to have to completely revamp their estimates on Apple because of the Epic lawsuit and the fact that they lost it. So they're going to have to, everyone's going to have to revamp these. So I'm not sure this is over. I know that I'm not buying it based upon this. It could go higher. I mean, could you bounce through this? Sure. But look at what you're doing this morning. You're already rejecting the 21-day. Could this bounce? Sure. But right now I have a bear flag forming. Do I really want to get involved with that? Right? I mean, we just talked about this. You take the stairs up, you take the window down. You've just taken from 155 to 148. And if you take out that bar, you're completely broken. Now, what I do like about the Apple is that this is your upper trend line, right? And if you threw in your Bollinger Bands, I guarantee you that without even looking, that it shows that I'm above it, right? And now I've broken above that. And after breaking above that, I've reverted back to what? The mean. So if I can flip the mean back over, you probably can come back up and test that high. But I just think there's too much uncertainty for me to play it. I really do. If I wanted to be long, no matter what, that lower low is my stop. I'm not even waiting for this. If I break this low, you're going to break the 50-day. That's how I look at that trade. Hey, Marty. First day of school. Everyone's back to school. Yeah, AMD, Marty. I mean, you have some issues there, right? To me, it looks like it's done. So I have a lot of overhead support. It's just not holding. So I wouldn't go near it. And look at how, look, I mean, like this is just such a tell. Always look at your relative volume line or your average daily volume line, as I should say that correctly. You want to look at your average daily volume line and look exactly at what's happening here. Okay, that's not something you want to participate in. Snap I did. I'll do Google. And if I have time, I'll do Snap again. Maybe you already saw it. So you really have to watch this, and you have to watch these for signs. Okay, so here's this trend line, and we've got above it, then we retouched it, and you can see when you retouched it here, right, after this being the trend line, this flipped to what? Support. Okay, so if we break that, you have an issue. But before you break that, Friday's action was awful. So if I break this, you're going to want to get out of the way. You're not going to want to be involved here. So that's really where my head is right now. It's not something that I would want to be overly involved in. I would want to watch and wait. Now, if I break this level, which we have not broken, and I just want to point this out, we have not broken since we began this uptrend. You're going to the 200. You're going to the 50-day, which is 2,700. So, it's possible if you break the 21-day that there's a short there. On very short term, but it's there. HMMJ. Am I typing that in wrong? HMMJ. I don't have that symbol. John, unless I'm typing it in wrong, let me know. HMMJ. No, I don't have that. Spot and Sam. So Spot went right to this trend line and rejected. Now that doesn't mean the trade's over. Nobody benefits more from the Apple verdict than Spotify. Nobody. So I would expect our next earnings quarter to be pretty substantial. Let's see when that's going to be. So you have time, plenty of time, right? But you can see where you broke here. So you could see I need to get above this line before I consider buying it. There's 10 points there, but I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in actually getting above that and seeing what we could do. Other than that, it's a hard pass for me. It's not something I'd get involved with. Sam, let's take a look at Sam. So here's where you're at. You're broken down. I mean, it's just completely broken down. Everyone stopped drinking beer. I don't know. I know what happened. I mean, this company was just on a tear, but this is just awful. It's got to be earnings, right? Yeah, the earnings are just dropping off a cliff. That'll do it, right? Earnings spikes, they come in and it starts. Then it rallied on good earnings and reversed. And since then, you've just been selling down. So maybe they're having an issue. It looks like they're having an issue. I would not chase this. I don't bottom fish like this. This is falling off a cliff. So you're catching a knife. I would avoid that. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just keep going here. Let me see where else I'm at. Love. Let's do love. So this is one I was asked about the other day, and I said no because you were down here. Obviously, the situation's changed drastically. Look, you flipped and you had confirmation the other day, and that was your buy point, right? So when you come out and you follow through that line that we were talking about, That was your confirmation right here. Probably on a 15-minute, you could actually drill into it and see that. What do you do now? I'm not really that apt to buy something that has a wick like this until I'm over the wick. It's probably not what you want to hear, but I'm not chasing this. I'm waiting for it to get over that level. And then if I see something like that, I might look for a pattern to buy it. But other than that, I'm not getting involved. I mean, it acts great. If you're in it, stay in it. But it's not something I would add to. MGNX. You know, and that might be helpful when you guys type in a symbol. If you want to know more about it, like, hey, I'm already long. Hey, I'm thinking of shorting. Hey, I'm thinking of getting in. You know, that is helpful information because it determines which way I go on the stock and what I talk about. So just FYI, something to consider. And as we learn, we'll all get better, you know, and how this can be better for everybody. But a little color is not a bad idea. Like telling me, hey, I'm long. You don't have to tell me where you're long at unless you want to. You certainly do not show me position sizes. I don't want to know. But that is definitely something that you could do. You're getting above that 50-day. You're trying to get there. I'm not touching this till I get above the 200-day. I do like the volume that's coming in. That's solid volume. MRO. Look, these could go again, but you need a sign. And right now you don't have that. You have the 50-day being resistance, and you have it battling the 21 and the 8, and you keep trying to test this 200-day. So these can go again, but I just don't see it right now. I truly just don't see it. Tesla I went over. I'll just do it again. I mean, to me, look, if it comes in and we get stopped out, we're in from the newsletter. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. But breaking this trend line is not what I wanted to see on Friday. Breaking down is not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see us test this level. That's not what happened. This is what happened. So now I have to play this hand, right? So to me, I'm just waiting for the stop. And if it gets stopped, I get stopped. But overall, I think you can get to the 780 level to start. But we're going to need to hold here. And I'm not so sure that's going to happen. So I'm not really jumping into that. Hey, Ethan, Facebook. So, I mean, this looks like you're getting ready to break out. It looks like it doesn't seem to even care what's going on in the market. Right? I mean, it's just kind of crazy. So, 384.33. Just straight up, and you're breaking out. And I think you'll break out here. It looks to me like you're going to break out. And you have a ton of room. Let's look at this on the weekly. Yeah. I mean, technically on the weekly, I think you're already there. No, you're not there yet. So really what you're looking for is that push, right? 378. Well, you're there. 378. You're technically you broke out, technically. So that might push. And now you have an outside week. What was the high of that bar? 383. This could go. This could continue to go. I don't know. And I mean, I don't even know who the heck's on Facebook anymore. I guess everybody's still on, right? But this looks like it's still going to go and break out here. That can go. Shop. So here's your trend line. Here's your other trend line. And then you break out and then you rip. Until then, there's nothing to do here. I've been watching it like a hawk. ATER could go. So what I would like to see is you got above this level. You need to hold that level, but you can go. You could run up to here. I was looking at this morning. You could get to $19 on that fairly quickly. Hi, Timo. Algo.x. I don't know that I'm going to have that on this system. Timo, I'll check. No, I don't have that on this system. IRNT. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing breakdown, come out, and then you're trying to run. The only thing that you can really use here are these, are these fib levels. There's really nothing else to use. You have a complete rejection. You can't get over 2077, right? You couldn't close there except for the other day. And then what happened when you closed there? You formed a little doji bar. And I still have that wick rejection. So if I'm looking for a bounce or trying to play the bounce, the way to play it is this, right off of this, 24, 20, 60. If I can get through that, I can go. But I need that to happen before I consider doing anything. ZYME. ZYME. I mean, this is just, to me, this is broken. I mean, you should be able to see this line. I don't really even need moving averages. Right? So until you break that level, there's no reason to even go near this. You can see every time you tried to break over it, what happened. Doesn't work. Wait for that to happen. Good morning, Ahmed. Let me just see. All right. Net. We look at net. A firm looks like it might not hold. Net, I think you have to be really careful. So I've been saying this for some time. I really like the name, but you're battling the top of this channel and you're losing the battle. I don't really need much more to look at besides that. I understand that people are going to say, oh, it's a bull flag, it's a breakout. Okay. This is one of the key reasons why I use candlesticks, because it's telling me things that open, high, low, close. It's that data is still there, but you need to know how to read it. So it's much cleaner for me to explain this stuff on candlesticks than it is, open, high, low, close. And I would recommend that if you're newer and a beginner, that these are the kinds of bars that you focus on. So, and we'll get to that in a moment. But see wick, red bar, like right at the top of that trend line. That's not what you want to see. It doesn't mean that we're not going to break out. We could, but I'll buy the breakout. I'm not buying that here. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait, watch, and see. A firm absolutely could roll or come in. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, your trading range right now is between 126.46 and 105. Anything in between there is an inside day, right? So, for me, where I think there's a trade is if I break the top. I think you get some buying stepping in. But that's your range. And until that solves itself, there's nothing to do now. I don't know that it's incorrect. I have pre and post data in when I showed that. So maybe you don't have pre and post data in, Ethan, and that could be the difference. mRNA. So, let me get rid of this. So you are, you're breaking out. I mean, there's no really other way to say it. For me, right, with the mandate that came down, where people are going to get tested and everything else, and now the testing companies. And look, the bottom line is, at the end of the day, people are going to want a vaccine that gives them some kind of protection. I truly believe that. What you need to see happen and what you really need to pay attention to here is how does this end? Like what's the end game here, right? So the end game is that these guys are going to have to come up with something that is going to be safer. They'll tweak it. It might take 6 months to a year, whatever. But I think that might be the end game here, where people are looking at it that way and saying, you know what, they're going to tweak this thing. We know what some of the issues are before, and they really have to figure that out. So 455.45, you have to watch this and be really careful here. Okay. And for me, I think you could break out and keep going. What they said about doing a one-stop shop where you're going to get a vaccine, the booster, and you're going to get the flu shot all in one shot. I mean, look, if you have people that you know that are like older, they're going to clamor for that. So that, I mean, you can see where this is going. Stock wise, technically, I broke out. I got to get above this level. I couldn't close above it. Couldn't close above it. If I close above that today, you might see accelerated buying on that name. It's very possible that that happens. FNGD. So, I mean, essentially, that's the exact opposite of you, right? I would be careful. I mean, what are you going to make? You're going to go to $3? Maybe that happens. But I mean, what's the trend of this been, right? Where's the money in this been? Shorting this, right? I mean, that's where the money's been. I mean, God, you're going to put your short on just going away and never even looked, right? I mean, seriously, it's just crazy. So I would not be going long that. Could it work? Sure. I would tell you just short the index instead. I don't know why it's not showing up either. What exchange is it on, John? Anybody else have this symbol? I don't know why it's not showing up. It might be, maybe it's on an exchange TrendSpider doesn't have. I saw people talking about these as short positions. I mean, to me, that's not where the money's going to be made, Melvin. So like the money to me will be made on the short side. Like, yeah, I get it. But that was your short. The bearish engulfing. This was your short. You failed up here, right? You're going to short down here. Maybe it keeps going. I mean, technically what you do with a chart like this is this. This is how you figure out where it's going, Melvin. Like you draw a line that's an H. So everyone can technically see this selling down and how this is kind of an H and that you broke here, right? So what you do is you take the highest point of the H, which is 375, and you take this 337 and you get what? Roughly 40 points. I'm just going to make the math simple, okay? So you get roughly 40 points, okay? We'll call it 35 to 40. So from that level break, this is telling you that you're going to get to about 300. So I'm looking for 30 points for this to drop. That very well could happen. But I would argue that if we're going to correct, the ones that are going to come in the fastest are names like this, right? Anybody that has a huge profit, if you truly correct, they're the ones that are going to correct. Like the people, it's going to be your high beta. They're going to try to protect capital. People that own this, that are in like pins and Roku, right? They're not going to be in a huge hurry to sell if the market gets hit. What's the hurry? Where's it going? It's already gone to I'll clean up my language. It's already gone to heck in a handbasket, right, Melvin? So like it's not like this hasn't dropped. I mean, look, this is where we put a buy on it here and we got stopped out. That's why I can't stress enough to honor your stops. But you're down 35% in a month. Well, why am I shorting that? There's way better short opportunities. Look, if this market comes in, if this market truly comes in, this is setting up as a perfect short, right? If I take out that lower low, like look at these indicators. I'm right on that 50-day. You break that 50-day, you can buy puts. It's over, right? So I think that you have to kind of have to look at it that way. I mean, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I don't really see a sense in doing anything there. Affirm and RH. Affirm I did. RH I'll go over. So RH is kind of doing the same kind of habit that we've done before, right? And this is what we're seeing happen. We're seeing no follow through in this market, right? I mean, that's what we've been seeing. So as we continue to see no follow through, it puts us in a really precarious position. So that's something that we really have to watch and think about. And right now, it's not something that I would be a buyer of. I'd be very apprehensive of this, right? Because essentially, I rejected everything. I rejected the breakout on huge earnings. Like, just what a beat. And it's not acting right. So, but Melvin, if you want short ideas, you need to be looking at high. I want to just go through this because this is important for people to remember or take notes. You want to be looking at high beta stocks for short positions if we break. Okay. Hey, Nicholas. Morning. Oh, we just did this RH. Okay. Now I'm back. All right, here we go. Right at number 1. Spirit we attack. Market open, short squeeze. Start now. Well, okay. I'm all for that. Let's see if it happens. HNSTCRSR. HNST. The Honest Company. I mean, I would not go near this. So, I mean, obviously they weren't very honest, were they? So, yeah, I mean, I would not touch this. To me, this looks like one of those things that winds up going to like 2. Looks like one of those things where everybody cashed out. I wouldn't touch this. CRSR. You know, I know everyone loves this company, especially people that build computers. My son loves this company. 2616. 2809. You see your levels, right? See what I'm showing? How we undercut. I know you're above that level. I mean, there are signs that this is getting better. I just don't know where you're going to. Where are you going to go to? You're going to go to 32? Maybe. Maybe you have 10%, but that's really about it. So Spot, I believe, has stopped using it. Well, they stopped, but now, but think, I understand that, John, but they stopped, but think about it for a moment, right? Now Apple's going to want that money. Okay, so they're going to come out and start offering people deals. Like Epic Games is going to get a deal. Okay, Match.com is going to get a deal. That's why these stocks went up. I understand they stopped using it, but wouldn't it be better if they could use it and it was just you hit a button? So I think it's an incremental increase for all app companies is how I view it. Good morning, Sophie. So no, you see how you revert, like bearish engulfing, had a chance, bearish engulfing. Now you can't even get in this gap. You can't even gap fill. Didn't they come out with earnings and they were like completely awful? Yeah, just avoid this. Completely avoid this. Net, I did. Hopefully you saw it. I'm going to try not to do duplicates so I can get through everything. Pen, my friend, pen I would avoid. Yeah, you got right to that level. If you want to be in this space, the one to buy is this. If you want to be in that space, if you're depending on why you're doing it, this is the space. This is the one you want to be in. But that's already, to me, played out. This is telling you that there's an issue there. Right? See how you can't get above that level? You need to at least get above that level before you even consider buying this. If you open above the wick, that's great news. It means that you have that much demand. What it could also mean is that somebody's up there that's trying to get you to buy it so they can get out. I don't see you above the wick right now. But what you're looking for, the best way that I can explain this, okay, this bar right here, let me open this up because this is important. This is a long-legged doji. Okay. And it's a pretty good example of one where you have one long leg this way and one long leg this way. Both are price rejection, right? This little bar right here in the middle that just happens to coincide with where this closes means that we have a battle. We have buyers and sellers that don't know what they're doing. This bar does not get resolved until what? Until I'm over this or under this. That's when this bar gets resolved. So I would not move or go one way or another on that until that happens. So if I was long, I would not sell it until that breaks. And if I was not long, I would not buy it until I got above 60-30. That's how I would play that. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't like that wick either. I would use the lower end of that daily bar as my stop. I wouldn't like that wick either. That would make me feel good about my position. Wow, I'm really behind. All right, let me go through these and do like a fast money round so I can start getting through them. RKLB, So I'm just going to run through these very quickly because I have to go get set up. And I apologize for starting late today. It won't happen tomorrow. Just telling you everything you need to know. You're breaking down off the open. You do not want to chase this. Okay, this can easily take you to this level. Okay, just avoid. Do not go near. I would not go near that. NVAX FCX, NVAX. As always, if you don't subscribe to this channel, please subscribe and click all notifications, because why I try and do these at 8:15, it doesn't always work that way. And at least this way you'll get a notification and the link will go so that you can join. So let's just see here. NVAX. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy this. I'd be really careful here. Well, I mean, you're forming a bear flag right here. So I'd be careful there. MTTR. I can see why you like this. It's throwing the indicators. So everything's starting to point up. These are getting wider. Your volume's kicking up. I got this. This makes sense to me. I'm coming off a huge base. I don't know what they do. 1976 is your flip. And this is nothing but blue skies above here. I can tell just by looking at it. Look, watch this. I mean, you have nothing but blue skies getting through this. That's an easy trade. I like that trade. You're welcome, Lucas, anytime. UPST, I put a trade on, I'm going to just say this. I mean, I put a trade on Friday. I'm looking to get out today. Definitely trade into it and to any strength. I'm not convinced that we're done going down. So we'll see how it goes. I hope we are, but I'm not sure of that. Yeah, I mean, that could happen. You could get 1850 for that today. That could happen. MDB and NTNX. Hey, Stefan. So my range on this is this. Okay. And this was your high, and now you're trying to get above that, and you couldn't. So this is really your range. Okay. So to me, there's nothing to do until I make a decision here. And then I have to look and see if there's a pattern there that could get me in it. But until then, there's nothing for me to do. And TNX. I wouldn't go near this. Breaks out, rallies, forms a doji at the top of that rally, shows you which way the doji is going to go, forms a hammer like it's going to break out, breaks out, and get that whole body encompasses this one. So I have rejection and a bearish engulfing. I'd avoid that. Ow. OWL. I got a couple more minutes here, then I'm going to have to jump. I mean, I could see why you like this. I get this. So, yeah, I mean, this looks ready to go. It looks like it's going to go this morning. So I could see why you'd be involved with this. I like this trade. That's where you would go to, though. You're not looking for much. Right? I mean, that's really all you're looking for. Winter earnings. You have time. So I like that. PAM entry. Hey, Janika. Whew. I mean, that's kind of tough with the wicks, but it's this. That's your entry. But you have issues, Janika. Just understand there's some stuff that you're going to have to deal with. So, I mean, you're probably only getting to here before you have another issue. ELY. So here's your issue with this. You're right below point of control of your volume by price. I would watch that. You can get in here, but you're going to have other issues up here. This needs time. This needs a lot of time. And I don't like how the 50 is going to cross the 200 in about a week or two. So that would be an avoid for me, most likely, Michael. Okay, I'm not going to have access to that on TrendSpider. Yeah, you have to watch that. I agree, Ethan. You kind of have to watch that. Oh, thanks. Hi, Paxis. No, I did not cover you. I'll cover it now. So You tried to break out, you failed, right? I mean, you can do this one of two ways now, okay? I mean, this looks beautiful. I do think you're getting up to here. You do have some other issues, and I'm going to go through the rest real quickly and just see if there's something that's important for me to cover for everybody, and then I have to jump here. You see how you tried to break out, you couldn't. You tried to break out, you couldn't. I mean, it kind of tells you what's going on, right? It kind of tells you your level. So you need to close above 137.68, or you need to get above this line. And if you can do that, then you can look at it. And I think you're going to climb that. Then you'll climb this red bar back up to 153. But right now, I wouldn't do anything. So let's go UPS. Yeah, I don't have that symbol, Timo. That symbol, it's not on my system. It only does US symbols. Let me do that. I'll do this, and then I got to go. I'm going to do, what is that? Hold on one second. I'm going to do fuel cell and MSTR, and then I'm going to go. So if you're not interested in those two, you can bail. I wouldn't go near this with a 10-foot pole, whether you have earnings or not tomorrow. To me, this is pretty clear that this is over and it's done. In regards to this, I know a lot of extremely smart people that are still long it, that have been in a lot cheaper. To me, it's completely broken right now. So I hope it breaks down more, and then you can look at it. I mean, it's not good news for him that he's now underwater, right, in his positions. That's not where he wants to be. So his average cost on Bitcoin is 46 and change. Okay, he's basically underwater 5%. Let's just talk about this for a minute. He's underwater 5% on that position, right? And since that time, okay, this is since he started buying it, this is what's happened to it. So which way do you think this is going? Probably down. All right, everyone, I got to jump here. Have a great day. Reach out, email if you need me. I do try to answer the emails. Let me see if I can find that real quick. It's arte@artetrading.net. But if you need me, you can just reach out and also comment on this video, because I do, there it is, because I also do answer there. All right, everybody, have a great day.